We have it. We get into the very final moment in this burial ceremony for the interment of the President Muhammadu Buhari. And we can see, of course,
the final resting place.
Absolutely.
So we can see that dug out in typical Islamic fashion. There is a specific way in which the grave is dug, and we can see it very clearly. Only one media house has been allowed to bring these pictures to you.
Go this far to the compound.
Yes, indeed. We can see seated in front, a little distance away, a few feet away from that dugout grave, President Muhammadu Buhari seated there. We saw earlier Vice President Kashim Shettima, Yemi Osinbajo. We also saw the Speaker Abbas also seated there, as well as a few other governors. I could make out Governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, right there at the burial ground, and then a throng of other dignitaries by that courtyard area. There you can see it's a small crowd compared with the crowd that we had seen earlier at the prayer ground. So somehow the security agencies have been able to do their work to make sure that the crowd at the final interment is limited. I think any moment now we should be seeing the ambulance conveying the body being drawn in there, perhaps military pallbearers as well, bringing that body to the final resting place, which we can see dug right in front of the seated dignitaries at that final resting place.
The pallbearers that we saw, some of the finest generals in the army across the different formations, the army, the Air Force, and the Navy, serving as pallbearers to convey the body of, I'm not sure how many of them actually met him in service. So, a lot of them who must have heard of him, not maybe cited or see him in active service, but then is the generals carrying the body of another general, and in this sense, paying homage to one person who led different battalions, who led the Nigerian military, led as a military head of state, as a democratically elected president. And this time around, at 82, the sun set on him. And well, this has to be done before sunset. But then, it's the Islamic way of doing things. And at this end is the live pictures. Of course, we do know that for some reasons, the television station is allowed to go this far into the compound, but then we get in you what we need to in this continued coverage of the passing and the burial of President Muhammadu Buhari. About 4 leaders out of Nigeria had come to pay their respect, and in not only in honor of this man, but representing their countries. I'm not sure if we have the natural sounds and some of the sights and the sounds coming with the sights that we can see. Maybe we can be able to reveal those to you.
The simplicity of this whole process is what will rekindle the thoughts of the vanity of life in itself. For a man who was the
oftentimes these are the challenges, when maybe just an exclusive is granted the media house for something like this, for an occasion like this. Ideally, what would have been ideal is that a media house who covers on behalf of everyone, will not have their logo on or will not have their, all of this paraphernalia on, so that all the media houses can also, share in this moment, much as the family did say they want it to be as private as possible. But clearly, this is a state funeral. The president is attending, as well as, many prominent state officials present here. But this is what we have.
Yeah.
We're able to bring you these pictures, and we wish we could let you, just feel the ambience, the solemnity surrounding the ambience. But it does appear that we'll need to talk you through it. Surrounding the grave, there are other dignitaries. Not all of them are seated, but we know that seated right there and waiting for that body as it makes its way now is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who's seated right there. And we can see it does appear it's making its way. It's not being escorted. Is that the son? Is that the son of the president?
It looks like it.
Yes, that is the son of the president, who is Yusuf, who is being brought by his friends, perhaps being comforted by them and being drawn into that gathering as he should be. I can imagine that it might have been tough for him because, in a gathering like that, as you did say, even sons can get lost, especially when you're trying to wade through the president's security cordon. So perhaps he had a tough time going through the cordon of the president. But now he is right there, and hopefully many more family members, I hope that they have not been cordoned out of this particular moment. But pictures that we're seeing, we're trying to talk through it as we see it develop on our screen. We see right there the president's son going to meet and greet President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, greeting the Vice President Kashim Shettima as well, and all the other dignitaries that are seated there, acknowledging their presence as they wait for the body of the late president to be finally interred. I'm trying to make out who else we're seeing seated right there.
Of course, the Vice President is beside.
Yes, I
and
could see that.
flanked on those other sides, leaders of other countries that we've seen arriving today in Katsina. The President Muhammadu Buhari of Guinea-Bissau, Prime Minister of Niger, Ali Lamin Zainin, former President of Niger, Yusufu Mahamadou, and former Vice President Yemi Oshibajo. All of them, we understand, may be present there. And we see sitting governors, Imo to Lagos, Ogun State, Sokoto State, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. I'm not sure how far some of these dignitaries are allowed to go in witnessing what we're seeing right here. And the moment for the final interment, that is what we're hoping to see, the moment of the final interment, which is happening right in the heart of the residence of the former President Muhammadu Buhari in his Daura residence.
Moment now, we're hoping that the body will be arriving that courtyard, because clearly that is what the dignitaries are waiting for, that moment when the body arrives and will be interred into Mother Earth in its final resting place. Sean, just taking a look at that final resting place and the specificity with which, graves for Muslims are dug. They're dug in a very specific way. First, you have this wide opening, then you now have a very narrow opening, just enough to accommodate the body when it has been wrapped in that white cloth and thrown into the earth, sealed forever in its belly. It does appear it is designed to just let us know that we're just a very small piece in the scheme of things. And this perhaps will be all that you're really entitled to at the end of life. That little space. And that is if you're lucky. One will be very fortunate to even have a ceremony like this, and even that little space in Mother. There are those who are buried or who die and nobody even knows where they're buried or where they died. So even this, it will seem, but this is a reminder that we go with nothing. We come with nothing, and we go with nothing.
Yeah. It's a reality, isn't it? And the understanding of the cycle of life, that the life starts in the most simple manner. You come, without being graphic with words right now, but it's a reality, naked. As you come from your mother's womb, and one day you'll be returning in that starkness of nature, and you will go. And with nothing you came, bearing nothing, except for Ige. In the Yoruba parlance, Ige bears something when he's coming to the world. You go back with nothing. And just a little space in the Islamic rite, and you're seeing pictures of how it's being done. And the prayers are now, the prayers you cannot say for yourself, others will have to say for you right now. Prayers for the forgiveness of your soul, prayers for the forgiveness of your deeds, prayer for the forgiveness and mercy for your soul. In all of this. So,
Sean, we see the military pallbearers coming in once more, bearing in very true, dignified military fashion the body of the late Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, General Muhammadu Buhari, who served as Nigeria's military president from 1983 to 1985 and had the privilege of being a civilian democratically elected president in 2015 to 2023. The ceremony is now underway for the final interment, and once again, the Nigerian Armed Forces is doing what it knows how to do best, rolling in the body on that the trolley, you know, the concealment trolley, which bears the body on, draped in the colors of the Nigerian flag. I said earlier that that flag will not go into the body. It will be folded neatly and presented to the Buhari family in gratitude for the service that their father rendered this country as not only a military officer, but also as President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces.
Some of the pallbearers, you can see they are generous, and some of them include, you can see them on the consignment trolley there. The team includes Major General Muhammad Usman, Major General Oluwafemi Williams, Major General Shuaibu Nuhu, Rear Admiral Sulaiman Dahun, Rear Admiral Jonathan Ajodo, Rear Admiral Samuel Ingatua, Air Vice Marshal Adeni Herbert Amesinola, Air Vice Marshal Idi Sani, and Air Vice Marshal Obina Obiabaka. And Major General Mike Alechin coordinated the team, and you can see him right there. This is the ceremonial uniform of these, the military, when they are performing this kind of event.
Our correspondent Lupa.
This shouldn't take a lot of time. This shouldn't take a lot of time because as soon as we've seen the body arrive, there will be a prayer. This naturally will be coordinated by the chief imam. And you can see the pallbearers have now dispersed and left the body alone. And the chief imam will now take charge. He's the officiating priest or so to say, a cleric in this regard. And he will be the one to take charge and now ensure that the final committer to Mother Earth is done in the right manner. And all of the obeisance to all the rites has to be done. And family members, well wishers who are designated will be allowed also their final respect.
We're out of that place now. They will be caught. They will be caught.
Close to the graveside, if you observe that. You haven't seen a wife, you haven't seen the daughters. She has, quite a number of daughters and the wife.
There are a few restrictions as to the Islamic practice, and perhaps part of what we're seeing right now. I was brought up around a lot of this culture and religion, so a bit of what I know is that dead bodies, and the extent at which you can permit, who can be around it, who can understand. In fact, the body washing, which is one of the process of Islamic burial rites, has been done in London.
Yes. The minister was talking about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and in all of these, there are specified. There are the rites of passage in terms of burial in the Islamic rite. They are detailed, they're specific. And when you're burying a leader as this, there are a lot of things that have to be put in consideration. The young man, Yusuf, is carrying a lot of burden on his shoulder in this moment. As he's not the eldest of the children, but in the moment we see him playing a prominent role in this regard. So let's perhaps have another feel of what is going on right on the ground.
Mike is there.
President Muhammadu Buhari was born on 17th of October and held on chief of the armed forces of Nigeria from 1983 to 1985, before he retired from service in 6 September 1985. He was democratically elected as the Commission President and Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria from 2015. I'm training. His demise was confirmed. Some of the courses include officers course, platoon commanders course, mechanical transport course, command and staff course, and Army War College course. During his young officers course, he worked very hard at the he demonstrated commendable stamina during practical exercises and in advanced conditions. During his command and staff course in India, he was a sincere hard-working officer who was quick to learn. He demonstrated the ability to comprehend the implications of most situations and apply tactics to arrive at generally reasonable solutions. He was friendly and cooperative with the individual who expressed his team. He accepted criticism willing to express his views in action. During his Army War College course, he was a well-read and skilled professional who demonstrated a vast range of knowledge and strategically related issues. He could withdraw Nigerian issues to identify the source of the
The live pictures there for you, and what you're seeing is what I've described as a chaotic kind of situation that no matter who you are, no matter what organization or institution that you work for, it happens sometimes in your lifetime that you will see that you have to cope and you have to deal with this kind of congregation of people in this kind of situation. A lot of people who will lay claim to their relationship, their affection, their love for Muhammadu Buhari, and they're here for him. And what is going on at the graveside is the most senior Nigerian military officer in service, General Christopher Musa, who is reading citation on the former President Muhammadu Buhari as part of the interment, final interment process, which of course, when that happened, we've heard 21 gun salute given to the late general, who is being respected by all and sundry. And the final interment, religious part of it, is going to be led by the chief imam. And you can see on the graveside, Governor Diko Rada, officials of government and family members, and some of the close associates of the late President Muhammadu Buhari.
Yeah, so you can see clearly that the military tradition seems to have extended the time of the burial, because if it were just to be an Islamic burial, I'm sure by this time everything would have been done.
Absolutely.
You know, so far in the last almost 30 minutes, it's been one military thing practice, tradition, ritual after the other. Now we have the reading of the oration, you know, which I'm sure is not part of the regular Islamic
No, you know, it came back to what I said about the battle for, it's a reality. The military, the man has so many parts.
Yeah.
A politician, a military man, soldier, a Muslim. A father,
ultimately,
you know, a family man. So everyone will want to have an equal portion, or maybe not the ability to get equal portion, but then everybody wants to have a bite in all of what is going on as a final respect. After now, what is left of Muhammadu Buhari is in the memories of everyone.
Indeed, Sean, you bet that his legacy will continue to be spoken of, examined, dissected, scrutinized in the coming days. Perhaps we might see again the emergence of the Buharis defending very staunchly what the President Muhammadu Buhari stood for. But I think generally there has been a consensus that the President did his best. Now, whether his best was good enough is the question that is on the lips of many.
I think that what Bishop Kuka has said seems to be, to me, a very fair appraiser. And what he said essentially is that don't use the 8-year presidency of Buhari to judge him. That's quite a very, I find that a very profound point to say that, look, you can't just say somebody who is 82 years old, it's the 8 years alone that defines his life. Indeed. The only difference is that, of course, you know, when you come to that peak of life, when you become a president or a leader of a country such as Nigeria, there's no doubt that your preeminence, you know, of holding such a position will also open you to that kind of, you know, limitation to say that, look, it is what happened in his 8 years presidency that we're going to use. But I think Matikuka made a very good point that, look, this man is 82 years old. Don't use what happened in the last 8 years to judge him. Very important point.
Absolutely. One thing that you cannot take away from him, there are some facts about Buhari. That he's a general, yes. That he was the military ruler, yes. That he was elected president, yes.
And I think we all can agree on the facts.
Those facts, they are on, but those things are debatable. It's whether or not he was able to live up to the expectations of the promises that he made on the platform of the change that he came with.
Yeah.
But he's a man whose political figure is towering. And you will imagine if you are being described is being described in the modern times as perhaps the most influential political figure out of northern Nigeria.
Okay.
It's even being compared as high as the Sardauner of Sokoto.
Yeah.
So these are very interesting. Or a member of the family.
Not directly, Sean. Yeah. So you see now that was presented to the officer coordinating, who will in turn give it to the Chief of Defense Staff, who in turn will present it to the President, and then the President will present it on behalf of Nigeria and Nigerians to the family of late Muhammadu Buhari in gratitude for his life of service to the nation. But what we're witnessing right now is this has been given to the Chief of Defense Staff, and I think the Chief of Defense Staff is, it's been given to him now as we speak.
So what we are saying, right, I mean, what has happened to them out there is a merger, a combination of Islamic burial rites and the military funeral process. So they try to juggle both. You know, you can see the Vice President, a former Zamfara State Governor, and of course the body is being stripped of the flag the Nigerian colors in the flag will then be presented as the Marquis mentioned.
Okay. So apparently...
So there were two flags.
Yeah.
Or there were two flags on top. One has been presented to the family. The other was just to drape it, perhaps for the sake of dignity. But we know that according to Islamic rites, he can only be buried in a white piece of cloth. So that last piece of flag has been taken off, and now you can see the dignitaries around the final resting place, led by Vice President Kashim Shettima. Of course, President Tinubu is looking on from a distance there, but he's not directly by the graveside. We can see the Vice President there, and it appears that the final prayers will be said as his body is being lowered into the grave, the final resting place. We already saw that tiny, I'm not sure what the measurement is, but it does look like 6 by 1 foot. Where that final body, will be laid to rest in finality in Mother Earth. You can see it as it's been lowered into that resting place, Sean.
Interesting indeed. Like I said, a combination of two different traditions: Islamic rites of burial passage and the military funeral procedures in burying their own dead. So this is what we have seen. Usually, when the military buries their own, one of their own, they put the citation is being read, the gun salute, the bugle is being played, showing the final respect, and then the flag is being unveiled on the body of the dead and handed over to a member of the family. All these have been done, and Chief Imam is the one who will coordinate the final committee to Mother Earth, and that's what we're seeing live right now.
Sure, I think one of the things that also sticks out here is the fact that we can see on the side there, because after he's been lowered into Mother Earth, you can see that there are a number of paraphernalia right beside it, sticks and mats, which will be used to cover that final resting place. And it would seem that in Islam, no matter who you are, that is just how you're going to be laid to rest. It's not the
simplicity.
Yes, it's not dependent on your status in life. It does appear that it will be something as simple as sticks and a mat.
Yeah, there is a status to bury the dead. You assume that status as long as you are a Muslim and you decide to be buried in the Islamic way. That is the status. Your status as human breathing, as soon as you're dead, this is what happens according to Islamic rite. And it shows the stark simplicity of life, the circle of life, the sheer humanity in when the life is out of the human body, and a lot of things that happen when a man breathes his last. So this is the moment we have all been waiting for, the final interment of the Nigeria's former President Muhammadu Buhari. They call him, some call him Baba, some call him Megaski. You cannot dispute the fact that he was a general in the army, former head of state, two-time Nigeria's elected president, who died at the age of 82. And before sunset, he's been buried in the hometown where he was born, in Daura, Katsina State.
Indeed, Sean, the time as we speak is 5:53 p.m. local time, and you'll see that the sticks are finally being put, the sticks that had been on the side are finally being put across that final resting place. They will be covered with the mat, perhaps also with the sand we also see there, and that is the note of finality to this life lived with passion for Nigeria, lived with devotion to the unity of Nigeria. For those who have sent in their tribute to a man who has taught us a lesson in resilience and not giving up easily on the hopes that you have for your country. Now, as we have earlier highlighted, whether or not he was able to live up to the ideals which a lot of Nigerians had believed the jury will still be out. I guess that will be discussed for many days and weeks to come, or perhaps even years, when history has been considered. Usually the prayer is that history be kind to you. Yeah. But as we see right now, the final rites being done, the sticks have now been laid across, and the mats are now being put on that final resting place, soon to be covered with earth, and perhaps that will be it for, you know, what we know for the Islamic burial rites.
Of course, some of the processes in an Islamic burial is such that the body is carried to the burial site. Of course, we've seen that often in a silent procession, with only men traditionally allowed to attend the burial. And oftentimes the graves is dug perpendicular to Mecca. The body is placed on his right side facing the holy city, and each mourner, he says, placed 3 handfuls of soil into the grave, and there is a marker which we have seen is placed to identify the grave without elaborate designs. And in all of this is the fact that when gathering at the designated area, there are about 3 rows of typically form at least 3 rows with men in front, followed by children, and then women at the back. So Islamically speaking, women are not allowed in proximity too close. Men in front, children followed in that row, in that order, and women at the back. And usually the body is wrapped in 3 for men or 5 for women pieces of white cloth. And so we've seen that, the stark white cloth. And all of this is said to show simplicity, spirituality, and speed.
All of this were done in the time when there was no technology, Sheon. But today, we can tell you that a lot of people have been able to see, with the aid of technology and the advent of television and social media, been able to get a front line view of the burial ceremony. That includes women and children who would have been at the back. Today, we can see on the TV, I can say, Sheon,
that's a very important point.
Absolutely.
as close as possible.
They're talking about physical proximity, not virtual or
no, but it is a point to make, because these pictures are coming to us live, and they're as real as they get. I mean, we can see firsthand what is being done, not just myself, I mean, but thousands, millions of Nigerians who are currently watching this broadcast, not just on our platform, but on many other platforms that are broadcasting as well. And they're seeing these pictures being beamed live directly into their homes, and they can be a part of this. We know that in Nigeria today, public holiday has been declared in honor of the president, so a lot of people will be at home, and usually there is a bit of sobriety that follows this moment. You know, a reminder that we all came from or for those who believe in a force greater than us, that there will be a moment of reckoning, and a moment when we shall breathe no more, and this is all that will be allowed.
So what you're seeing right now, the chief imam performing the final rites of in these passage moments for the late president. Of course, they're covering the body, and prominently you can see the heart of a former governor of Ogun State, who is a very close ally, a friend to the former president. In fact, the former president would say that whenever he was in Lagos, he often sleeps in the house of Ibikunle Amosun. And you can see him right in the front row, backing the camera, and the vice president and all the dignitaries are right there, just at the grave side, trying to pay their final respect. So just to note that this is a final moment.
Shall also witness the weather. Media, go behind. Media, bro. Sau uku wanda ake cima kwanciyar gan wanda za a yi muna kira da jama'a da ke yin wuri da Allah kuma gefe a sanar da to akwai kwanciyar